this guy's washed, this guy doesn't fight, this guy's in jail, and this guy should be in an old folks' home. The rankings are due for a purging in 2026, and it's time to talk about some of the up-and-coming whippersnappers who are nipping at the heels of these unks in the top 15. In this video, I'm going to go through each division and give you the best prospects that you need to be keeping your eye on in 2026. These will all age perfectly, just like Sofia Vergara. And as the UFC Oracle, I'm guaranteeing 100% of these blokes will be ranked or on a solid win streak by the end of this year. If you are a degenerate like me who enjoys winning money, then these are the guys you should be betting on over the next 12 months. Thank me with a like on this video and a sub to Punch-Ons. The best UFC prospects from each division, with some honourable mentions too. Let's punch on. Okay, I decided to set some arbitrary rules for this list to keep me on track and avoid just waffling about every guy on a win streak in the UFC. Rule number 1, must be under 30 years old. So no unk prospects, sorry Lerone Murphy, we're just looking at the guys born after 1995 who haven't hit their athletic prime yet. Rule number 2, must be unranked. Some of these young guys have made a few moves lately and secured ranking spots. Guys like Kevin Vachejos, who otherwise would be in this video, but we're sticking to guys outside of the top 15. That's kind of the point of this video, to be honest. I'm not making a list of ranked guys who are going to be ranked. Duh. Guys, I'm telling you, Peyton Talbot is going to be ranked. I'm certain of it. Rule number 3, not known to casual fans. So no mainstream appeal, and we're just talking about guys who haven't already blown up. So no Chiwiwis or Bo Nickel coming in this list. We're flexing our hardcore just bleed UFC fan muscles here, fellas. Okay, with those rules in mind, here are a couple of blokes who didn't quite make the cut due to violating one or more of our rules, but guys who I feel are excellent prospects to look out for and could do some work in their respective divisions this year. Jafel Filho at Flyweight, Raul Rosas Jr. and Peyton Talbot at Bantamweight, Kevin Vachejos at Featherweight, Manuel Torres at Lightweight, Mike Malott at Welterweight, Salty Joel Pfeiffer and Bo Nickel at Middleweight, and Volta Walker at Heavyweight. Sick, now Volta won't heel hook me for not including him. Let's punch on with the real list. Honourable mention at Flyweight, Lonnie Kavanagh. Very strange looking bloke. Looks like if the Ibiza final boss was a little fit bastard. This guy's pretty decent, boys. Wins over Jose Ochoa and Felipe dos Santos. It looks really good in most of his fights, but he did take an L in 2025 to inner G Charles Johnson. Absolutely no shame in that, but it was very fraud checky type of beating, that one. Overextended massively and got caught and put away. That's dropped his stock a little bit, but I still think this guy's got something. He's only 26 and in a division that you can move through quite quickly. He's booked against Bruno Bulldog Silva for March. I think we see Lonnie Kavanagh bounce back in a big way this year and establish himself as a top 15 guy. Fuck, I just checked the UFC rankings and he's actually number 15 already. Fuck it, I'm not re-recording this shit. There's not much else at Flyweight. The division's pretty shallow, so I'm going to allow this one ranked guy to count. Sorry, I promise the rest won't be ranked. The real, actually unranked guy at Flyweight who I want to talk about, Alden Correa. This guy made his UFC debut in 2025 against a veteran in Alessandro No Costa. Put belt to ass and had a really impressive performance. 5 KOs and 4 submissions in his 11 wins. He's clearly a finisher, which is a bonus. He's booked to fight Luis Garule on the Strickland Hernandez card. So yeah, keep your eye on this guy. I thought he looked really good in his debut and he should find a way into the rankings in 2026. Let's go now to the honourable mention at Bantamweight. I'm going to go with another guy who lost his O in 2025 but still has potential, and that is Jean Matsumoto. 17-1, which is a very solid record for a guy who's only 26 years of age. This guy's super active, well-rounded, and seems to have the goods to do well in this division. He took a split decision loss to Rob Font in a close fight early last year, but bounced back with a win over Miles Johns. So he's taken on the unks of the division and would have learned a lot from those fights. He's going up against Farid Basharat next month. I think this guy could be something at Bantamweight, but it is a tricky division to crack the top 15 of. I could see some of these guys getting shaken out of the rankings soon though. Maybe like a Kyler Phillips or Montel Jackson. So yeah, we might see a bit of space freed up for the likes of Jean Matsumoto at some point in 2026. And my main pick for Bantamweight, Alexander Topuria. Come on, man. Topuria 2.0 is speed running to the rankings. On name value alone, this guy gets ranked this year. He probably doesn't even have to fight. He can just take the Shavkat Rakhmonov path and just sit out and keep climbing the rankings if he wants to. This guy's training with his brother, Ilya Topturo. He looked great in his 2 wins in the UFC over Colby Slickness Thickness and Bekzat Almakhan. He's very dangerous on the feet and on the ground. He's just got the aura of a guy who's going to be in the top 10, and I reckon he'll get the push from the UFC as well. I'd be very surprised if we don't see Topuria Sr. get a number next to his name in 2026. So looking forward to seeing his next fight. I hope it's against Bryce Mitchell. That's been rumoured. I bet they give him number 15 if he wins that, even though Bryce isn't ranked. So this one's a lock, boys. Alexandre Topuria. Let's punch on to featherweight. Another very solid division prospect-wise, and there's going to be plenty of movement around the edge of the rankings here this year. Plenty of guys on shaky ground at the bottom of the rankings. Aging unks and guys falling off. I'd be surprised if any or all of these guys hang in there this year. Josh Emmett, Brian Ortega, Patricio Pitbull, why the fuck's he in there anyway? Dan Ige, David Onama. Yeah, I reckon featherweight's going to get a shake-up very soon. So I couldn't split these 2 honourable mentions, so here's 2 honourable mentions for this division. Number 1, Yadier Del Valle. I don't know why, but I got a really good feeling about this dude. He looks staunch. He dominated his 2 wins in the UFC. I feel like he's a bit unfortunate for getting himself attached to that Isaac Dalgarian controversy, and that's kind of how people are going to remember him right now. But I think we see this guy forge his own identity in 2026. I reckon this guy's a problem. I need to see a bit more and maybe a better opponent before I can get too high on him though. He's booked against Jordan Levitt in February. I reckon he fucking smokes Levitt. Yeah, the UFC's given this guy a very nice entry point into the division, and I think he continues to climb up the rankings. Maybe he doesn't quite get a number this year, but I'd say he'll be on the cusp. Keep your eye on Yadier Del Valle, the Cuban problem. And the second honourable mention, honestly, I was going to pick this guy as my main dude before I remembered the other bloke who's actually the real pick. Myron Santos, bro. This guy is coming for the rankings fast. He's looking very slick. A great stylish looking striker style. He's got UFC plot armour. Seems like a good chill guy as well. Reminds me of Prime Anderson Silva, which is a very high compliment. I like the look of Myron Santos. He's been known to miss weight, so he's got to watch that. But yeah, this guy's the type of fighter the UFC loves to get behind. Pause. I'd say there's about an 80% chance that this guy gets ranked in 2026. And the main guy at featherweight, almost forgot about him because I thought he was ranked already. Absolutely, he should already be above David Onama. And that is Melquizael Costa, the Dalmatian. This dude is on an absolute tear. A 5-fight win streak, and he's coming off a sick highlight reel head kick KO finish over Morgan Charrier. Melquizael Costa. He's weird looking, he's entertaining, he's a cool guy. I think there's plenty to like about this bloke. He's matched up with Dan Ige in February, which I think is a terrible matchup for Ige. So there's a pretty good chance this guy takes the number 14 spot very early this year. I don't think he's top 5 material. He has been beaten 7 times already, but it's generally the good guys. Steve Garcia KO'd him. Thiago Moises choked him out. Yeah, his record's a bit patchy, a bit speckled to say the least. But I just think with the activity and momentum alone, we're going to see another win or 2 from Melquizael Costa this year, and I think he'll be a ranked guy at featherweight. So we'll go with the spotty dude, the Dalmatian, Melquizael Costa. Let's talk about lightweight, another pretty stacked division with a lot of guys trying to break through into the rankings. We've already seen a bit of movement lower down the rankings with guys like Faraz Ziam, Mauricio Hufi, and Manuel Torres securing their spots late in 2025. We've got Dariush and Chandler, who I don't see being ranked for much longer. And those guys, Ziam, Rufi, and Torres, they're not set in stone, so it wouldn't surprise me if there is a bit of movement down low here this year. The honourable mention is a guy who could get ranked, but it all depends on his activity levels. I think he's skilled enough, but will he fight regularly enough? I'm not sure. It's Nurullo Aliyev, the Tajik Khabib. 11-0, 2 fights for 2 wins in 2025, which is good to see, but he was very inactive before that. He's a very, very good fighter, this guy. Obviously known for his Caucus style, grappling and taking fights to a boring but safe decision win. But he impressed me in his last one against Shamrock. He looked good. Can't really say how good a win over Shamrock is though. But yeah, Aliyev looked really dominant in that fight and his striking looked improved too. Could be one to watch. You know the UFC favours these guys with fucking neckbeards and no mustache. If he fights 2 more times and wins in 2026, I'd say he'll be ranked or very close. The main guy at lightweight, riding a ton of hype right now, and I'm feeling pretty confident that this guy threatens the rankings in 2026. Quillan fucking Salkilled. Look at this absolute unit. Rookie of the year in 2025, one of the breakout fighters of the year. This guy's on fire and he's coming to a ranking slot near you ASAP. Not even Aussie bias here. Quillan Salkeld is all the rage in the UFC. 3 huge wins in 2025. One of the KOs of the year over Nasrat Hakparast, who's a very, very solid guy. Yeah, the ball is really rolling for Quillan Salkeld at the moment. He's booked against bloody Taronga Zoo on the Sydney card. I've actually heard a few whispers that this fight was cancelled, but nothing confirmed. I'm sure they'll get Quillan an opponent for the card. I've also heard nobody wants to fight this guy, so it might be tough. Actually, while I was recording this video, I just saw that Quillan has had a new opponent announced. Jamie Malarkey stepping up to fight him. What a mad dog. Aussie v Aussie action. Take some bloody notes, Dagestani fighters. Us fellas actually scrap each other. Brazilians do this shit too, so good on Jamie Malarkey for stepping up to fight Quillan, but I reckon he gets his ass kicked. 2 more big wins are very possible for Quillan Salkeld this year. And if he keeps going the way he's going, he's an absolute lock for a ranking spot. It'd take a huge halt in momentum for Quillan to not get ranked this year, I reckon. So it's all aboard the Quillan Salkeld hype train, boys. Choo-choo! Let's ride this one all the way to the station. Let's keep running to welterweight, another division that's been on an absolute heater lately despite a boring champ. Honourable, completely unbiased mention, Sam Patterson. This guy's a G. He's on a 4 first-round finish streak. He's a finishing machine. Really stepped up to the plate in 2025 and announced himself with wins over Trey Waters and Danny Barlow. Looking forward to seeing him return on the London card, I'd say. No fight news for Sam yet, though. He's a nasty finisher, really clean and composed on the feet, huge power, well-rounded game as well. He's definitely the archetype of a guy who could be ranked at welterweight. A few of these unks in like D-Rod, Jeff Neal, Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns are definitely on their slide down the division. So it's going to open up the bottom of the rankings for some movement, and I think Sam Patterson's going to be right there or thereabouts this year. He's a punch-on's favourite. He's actually the first fighter I ever picked correctly on this channel. So I'm a Sam Patterson stan. Let's get our boy across the line in 2025. Let's go for that. I want to talk about a guy who's on a huge 3-fight win streak. One of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC. He's going to be tearing up the division in 2026. Future champ, 100% guaranteed. You guys have been sleeping on this bloke, Michael Chiesa. People forget, man, this guy choked out Tony Ferguson. Nah, jokes. The real guy to watch at welterweight, Jacoby Smith. This guy is a marauder. Nasty with it, this bloke. Supposedly he's a wrestler with a bunch of credentials, but he's rocking 8 KOs in his undefeated 11-fight MMA career. 5 finishes in a row, beaten absolutely nobody so far, but he's just getting started. Big hype on this guy. His next fight just got announced against Seok Hyun Ko. That's a very dangerous matchup and a fight I'm low-key frothing for. We should get to see what both these guys are made of in this one. Seok Hyun Ko is another guy I'm high on, and he's one to watch as well, but he's 32. If Kobe gets past the Korean Tyson, I think we're going to see big things from him. Another guy with a bit of plot armour and in that kind of Bo Nickel camp of support from the UFC. Nasty fighter. I'm expecting a ranking for Jacoby Smith in the not-too-distant future. Middleweight honourable mention, Mini Hamzat Baysengur Susukaev. This guy's a bit of an enigma, but he started well in the UFC with 2 big finishes. KO'd Eric McConaughey in nasty fashion not long ago. He has a bit of that Hamzat energy, I reckon. Foreign, a bit cooked, wants to smash guys, has the skill to do so. Yeah, I think the UFC likes what they see in this guy. No fight news yet, maybe going to do Ramadan or something, but I see a bright future for Baysengur Susukaev. At just 25 years of age, he's got plenty of time to get himself toward the middleweight rankings. I'm not 100% sure if he gets there this year, but he'll likely be knocking on the door. Middleweight's decently stacked, but some of these guys like Roman Dolidze, Paulo Costa and Jared Cannonier are just hanging in there by the skin of their teeth and are 1 or 2 losses away from sliding out. The real deal at middleweight. Probably been flying under the radar, but I see this guy having a monster 2026 and bashing the door of the rankings down. In my opinion, one of the best prospects in the UFC right now. Mansour Abdul Malik. 9-0-1, 28 years of age, and a proven devastating finisher. He's been just destroying everyone in his path. The only blemish on an otherwise perfect record is an overturned draw against Cody Brundage due to a clash of heads. Absolutely nothing against Abdul Malik, but a fucking dirty, disgusting stain on his perfect record to have a draw against Cody Brundage. But nah, I rate this bloke. He's got hands of steel and a filthy jiu-jitsu game. He nearly ripped Antonio Trocoli's head off in his last fight. He just looks so explosive and powerful. Dude, fuck fighting this guy. He's a problem. He's sick on the mic and he's humble and respectful too. I can't wait to see what's next for Mansour Abdul Malik. I'd say he's a shoo-in to climb strongly up the rankings this year. Bro, I am as washed as Josh Emmett. I just realised I forgot about Atiba Gautier. This guy is like a future champ for sure. I just assumed he was ranked already, or I just forgot that he existed. So yeah, this guy will definitely be ranked, provided he doesn't catch a murder charge for decapitating his next opponent. Atiba Gautier, yeah, definitely belongs in here too. Okay, light heavyweight. Look, I'm going to be honest, there's not a whole lot going on in this division. Definitely one of the more shallow ones, and the rankings seem pretty transient at the moment. Not too difficult to break into the rankings. Alexander Rakic is on a 4-fight losing streak, and he's still at number 11. Nikita Krylov's still in there. Alonzo Menefield, Jamal Hill. Yeah, these guys could shuffle down easily if the right guy comes along. Here's my honourable mention. Navajo Sterling. This guy looks pretty solid. The White Adesanya, as they are calling him. A solid kickboxing style, undefeated, 8-0, and he looks like he belongs in the UFC. He has wins over Rodolfo Bellato, Ivan Erslan, and Tuko Tokos in the UFC. So I wouldn't exactly call that a murderer's row. All decisions too. But he looks like he's got the skills to pay the bills, and it wouldn't surprise me if he locks in this year, gets a friendly matchup or two, and adds a couple of finishes to his resume. Ranked by the end of the year or not, I think this guy's one to watch, and he'll be making some moves in 2026. But this next guy, I've got a very strong feeling about. A bit like Mansour Abdul Malik. This guy looks unstoppable, and I truly believe he's going to be putting some guys in body bags over the next 12 months. Abdul Rahman Yakyayev. This guy is a problem. 25 years of age, undefeated at 8-0, 7 finishes, absolutely murking guys at light heavyweight. Now, he's beaten absolutely nobody, let me get that straight. He just debuted in the UFC and got the easiest matchup possible. He got spoon-fed Rafael Sequeira and got him out of there before the ref could even finish clapping his hands together. He also got a 30-second finish on the Contender Series. Abdul Rahman Yakyayev. This guy is dangerous. He goes hard early and destroys his opponents. 6 of his 7 wins are inside the first round. He looks filth, eh? I'm backing this guy to get another couple of nasty finishes in 2026 and get ranked very, very soon. The alignment of how good this guy looks with how shallow the light heavyweight division is, I think this one is a no-brainer. If he stays active and keeps doing what he's doing, I could see him getting a Nikita Krylov or Alonzo Menefield fight late in 2026 and absolutely starching one of those guys. Abdul Rahman Yakyayev. Fun to say, remember the name. Okay, now we go to the last division we're talking about today. The big boppers, heavyweight. I must say, this division has been dead as fuck for a long time, but we actually had a little bit of movement in 2025. Not necessarily up at the top of the rankings, that shit's never been more dead. I mean, come on, Cyril Gane is still the number 1 contender, and the shadow of John Jones is hanging over the entire division. But we had the rise of Waldo Cortez Acosta, Ante Delija, Volta Walker. Yeah, look, nothing special, but there's a couple of fresh names about at heavyweight. I've heard rumours of Rico Verhoeven getting a start in the UFC soon too. But look at some of these guys down in the pits of the rankings. There's some absolute pus there. We've got a washed up Marcin Tybura, Shamil the Meal Deal Gaziv, the dead, rotten, decaying corpse of Tai Tuivasa, Mick Parkin. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for a clean out at heavyweight if the right guys come along. The incredible Hawk, Josh Hockett, came to mind. We'll wait and see how he goes in his next one. Vitor Petrino's right there as well. He's been looking good. But my honourable mention at heavyweight is actually going to go to Stephen Asplund, the ass plunderer himself. Bro, tell me this guy doesn't look like the absolute archetype of a number 14 ranked UFC heavyweight contender. Nah, for real, this guy's actually sick. He just set a significant strike record at heavyweight by a huge margin when he pieced up Sean Sharaf on the final card of the year. He looks like a heavyweight Max Holloway, bro. This guy is a problem. A really cool backstory and a nice dude as well. The UFC is going to get behind this jiggly man and push him up the rankings. I think he could be ranked this year for sure. Petrino is probably a better option, but I like Stephen Asplund, man. I think the heavyweight division is ready to have its ass plundered in 2026. And the main guy at heavyweight, who I'd say is not far at all from being booked against a ranked opponent, it's Mario Pinto. This guy is nasty, bro. He's built like a light heavyweight, so I feel like he's got a bit of that lighter man skill about him. I think he weighs in at about 240 pounds or something. Undefeated, 11-0, 7 KOs and a submission, 3 KO streak, 2 big KO wins in the UFC over Austin Lane and Janata Denise. He fucking mollywhopped Denise too, who isn't actually a pushover. Sick on the mic, promotable, dangerous. Yeah, I can't see a world where Mario Pinto doesn't get a big step up in 2006 and rises to the occasion. I could see a Tybura or Parkin or Gazee fight being booked for this guy in the not too distant future. And I'd put the house on Pinto against all these guys. Man's coming for that booty at 265. I think he is the future of this division, along with Waldo Cortez Acosta. And that's it, fellas. Those are my prospects to watch in 2026. The guys who are making a beeline for the rankings and guaranteed to not sell your multis. This is not financial advice, but if it was, it'd be pretty fucking sick advice, all right? Looking forward to seeing all these age like milk. Knowing my luck, these guys have just become completely cursed and doomed. And every single one of them is going to get spinning wheel kicked or break their fucking arm in the next fight. Only time will tell, but make sure if you vibe with these picks, you go down and like this video, subscribe to Punch-Ons for more cooked takes and for more from the crystal ball of doom. Hit me up on Instagram at PunchOnsMMA. Comment your favourite prospect in the UFC right now. All that good shit. See you cookers on the next one. Punch on.